What is science? It's not just memorizing a bunch of facts. It's so much more than that. Like what these kids are doing in an after-school kids science activity. They're gathering evidence to help answer questions. Is science about using the scientific method, always following the same set of steps from question to hypothesis to conclusion? There are actually many different methods for approaching different scientific questions. It depends on what you're investigating.
We found a spider!
So, what is science? Science is a way of explaining the world around us using evidence. Science often starts with exploring and wondering, but then scientists go on to gather evidence. Evidence is clues that help answer questions. Evidence comes from observations, things that you can notice or measure. Scientists use evidence to explain things. Science is all about evidence.
What sand was a good surfing beach, and what was your evidence for that? Bianca?
Big.
So you thought big sand? Can anybody tell why big sand is good for a surfing beach?
If you had like smaller sand, if it wasn't a big wave, it would have washed it off.
These children observed that different beaches had different sized grains of sand. This child used sand grain size as evidence to explain that surfing beaches have larger grains of sand because the smaller grains are washed away.
Who knows what would make a good swimming beach?
That is science.
Look what she's doing.
When scientists start to build an idea or an explanation based on evidence, they often go on to try and test that idea. By testing an idea or explanation, you gather more evidence.
Look at Miguel's experiment, look.
This child is testing the idea that oobleck is a liquid by squeezing it. Even though the oobleck drips like a liquid, when it is squeezed, it acts like a solid. In science, if the evidence doesn't support an explanation, you've got to be ready to change your explanation. Any idea in science is open to change if the evidence doesn't support it.
2, 1.
The big ideas in science are based on years of observations and testing by lots of scientists. With so much evidence, these ideas are probably not going to change in big ways. However, any idea in science is open to change if the evidence doesn't support it, because scientific explanations have to fit all the evidence. Sometimes scientists use models or simulations to look for evidence. In this activity, the children use this model of an ocean to see how trash moves in currents. Scientists share their observations and explanations with one another. As an after-school leader, you can help kids be like scientists by encouraging them to talk about their observations and explanations. There are other ways to encourage kids to be scientific. Give them lots of opportunities to explore and investigate interesting science materials. As they explore, encourage children to make careful observations. Ask them to explain what they notice.
What are the characteristics of oobleck?
It feels like something hard.
Something hard, Miguel?
Something hard or soft.
Ask children questions that make them think and want to find out more. Asking questions like, why do you think that? Or what is your evidence? Can focus kids on connecting their ideas to the evidence they have.
Okay, we said it feels like soft, hard. So it can be soft or hard?
Encourage children to share with one another the evidence they've observed.
Once I touched it, it felt like water, and then I touch it again and it feels hard.
Avoid just giving kids lots of answers.
Oh, it also moves, so the same idea is behind here, huh?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
We're trying to move back.
Show me again what it is.
Instead, investigate, discover, and wonder with the children.
Okay, so how are you going to use the paper to do the same idea?
Science is about being curious, creative, and open-minded while using evidence to try to figure out the mysteries of the world around us. That is science.
Ah, that's cool.
Funding provided by Oracle, the Noyce Foundation, the S.D. Bechtel Jr. Foundation, the David and Lucille Packard Foundation, and the Stephen Bechtel Fund.